Hey guys, just back with another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the T-34-100 Tier 4 6.7 battle rating Russian medium tank. Now obviously it's a T-34 with 100mm cannon. So it being at a 6.7 BR, it's the highest tier T-34 in the game, which isn't surprising. It has almost the same gun that you get on the T-54s. However, it has a modified breech on it so that it could fit inside the turret of this tank. Even though it's got a larger turret than the normal T-34s, it is equally poorly armored for 6.7. Now, a few things this tank are really good at is ambushing people, like you're about to see here. Just sitting around a corner and waiting for them to drive around it. It's kind of boring, but, I mean, it works really good at it, because it's got a magical one-shot cannon. This thing will one-shot a tank 90% of the time. That being said, your tank will be one-shot 90% of the time. So it's one of those tanks that's a one-hit wonder, but no matter what shoots back at you, it's also a one-hit wonder, because you will almost always die to whatever hits you. It's just... And the other thing about it is if you don't one-shot that tank, you are going to die. So always try and flank or ambush and get those side shots as best you can, because it is a very powerful cannon. It's got high penetration. It usually one-shots things from the front, like Tigers and stuff, when you pen them in the turret, because you still can't pen the upper hull. But it's those times that it doesn't, that you're really gonna regret it, because if you don't knock out their breach, you will die to it. Even if you knock out their gunner, they will get their gunner back before you reload. So you need to make absolutely sure you one-shot when you're using this tank frontally at close range. Otherwise, it's going to result in your death and not the enemy's. Now, this thing is also quite mobile. Obviously, it's T-34, so pretty much the same mobility. It's not quite as good as the other ones because it does way more, because it's got a bigger turret and a bigger gun and stuff like that. But the other thing is because it's a one-shot cannon, you don't have to take much ammunition, so you don't get ammo racked very often. So, like, I usually take 20 shells. So, you don't even have to aim this gun, just shoot. Granted, that guy wasn't very smart and had ammo all over his tank, but it definitely gets the job done and can penetrate things frontally quite easily, even though that was the side of a Tiger. So now there's a Yag Tiger sitting on that bridge, and it doesn't have the turret weak spot that the Tigers do. So, I need to make this work for me. So, I shoot him in the lower glacis, which did exactly what I wanted it to. It hit him right in the transmission. Now, it took me a few seconds, then I realized, hang on, he's a TD, he doesn't have a very good gun arc, he's in a Yag Tiger. So if I just stick close to this side, he won't be able to get his gun to turn as far as I will be. Now my artillery comes in, but by that time, I'm already on his side, and wreck the Yag Tiger. So, back on the long reload, and I'm not really paying attention at this point, and don't realize what's about to happen. But yeah, that Panther is absolute, like, how did you miss that, buddy? So then, I don't even actually think he saw me, but, I mean, makes it another easy kill for me. So now we're going to put in this thing's mobility and use it to flank the entire enemy team, since we've managed to break out of the city. So, now our goal is kind of just get side shots on anything I can. Just kill whatever I can. Try to win this for the team, you know? Get us access to the B point and stuff like that from the town. Now, someone is actually capping A. I'm not going to go back for it. There's enough tanks in the city, they should be able to deal with it. Oh god, teams. Anyways. And this thing's not the best at going after someone that's on a cap point. I mean, if they're looking at you, you could be in trouble. You don't want to be the one to be peeking, unless you absolutely are certain they aren't looking at you and they will die. And you can one-shot them. Because this thing is paper for 6.7. It's not like the T-34-5s wwhere when you're top tier you can occasionally bounce shots. Even when you're top tier, everything that you see will go right through you. From 5.7 to 6 points, from 5.7 to 7.7 will go right through all of your armor no matter what it is. Now, because it's angled oddly, you do still get those stupid bounces every once in a while that are just like, how did that bounce? I'm not questioning it. So, yeah. It's definitely got its perks to it. But its main perk is gun and mobility. This thing is quite comparable to a T-34-100 without the upper hull armor. the T-44, really the only difference between this T-34-100 and the T-44-100 is that the T-44-100 has the side skirts and upper front plate armor. Anything that shoots the T-44 on the turret will still kill it. So, survivability is really what makes it a lower battle rating, because it's just as mobile with pretty much the same gun and same penetration values and whatnot. But this one's premium, so you can buy it whenever. And I would definitely say that this is the best Tier 4 Russian premium, just because it is so mobile, it's got an amazing gun, and it's pretty fun to play. So now, once again, we're just on the hunt, and we see a 105 Tiger. Yeah. Oh, look, pretty easy shot, right? Yeah, bounce. Whoops. Didn't place that shot too well. Luckily, he had no idea where that shot came from. So, I fall back on my long reload, wait for him to come back out. Well, not really back out, because he's falling back from the position, and just put it where I should have put the first shot, because it's a 105 Tiger. He has to have ammo in the back of the turret. Forgot about that, though. But it's all good. I still got the kill, and no one on my team was killed as a result of my errors. So now we see what this gun is like at long range. It's actually got really good range. Or, like, it's very good at long range. It's got the penetration to do it, and it's got the high explosive to one-shot anything at long range once you range it properly. So, at this point I was trying to go help out this flank and just kill what I could that was trying to cap the A point, or the B, that one, C, and I come across a Kugelblitz. And, of course, easiest tank to kill is the one I don't one-shot. He looks at me and I know no matter what, I was going to die. However, another lucky break happens this game. He only has the anti-air belts. He didn't bring the HVAPs. And that one only hit his turret traverse. So at this point I'm like, really? Easiest tank to kill? Takes most shots. So getting ready to put a third one in, but I'm pretty sure he bailed out. So that's that. Another Kugelblitz down. So now I gotta get ready to look out, because the enemy team has to know I'm behind them at this point. I mean, I've killed like 4 tanks since I've been behind them. Someone's got to have figured it out by now that I flanked their entire team. So now I'm on the hunt, just trying to find whatever doesn't know I'm there. Quick snapshot into the Tiger turret, knocks out his crew. Perfect. So now I'm trying to get down to the point and support the C point and support our team down there, because that's where they needed the most support. So putting this thing's gun and mobility to use is quite effective when you flank the entire team. It is very, very capable of one-shotting anything. It is an amazing 6.7 medium tank, especially since things like the Panther are 7.0 now. There's not really many 6.7 mediums to compare it to. I mean, you've got the M46 Patent, which is basically the same thing, one-shot cannon, no armor, but with less penetration actually, but a shorter reload. And then you've got, actually I can't even think of another 6.7 medium off my top of my head. They've all been moved around so much, because the STA2 is a 6.3 now, or the STA1 is a 6.3 now. Actually, they're both 6.3, but they're just, yeah, there's not much left. And that's when the Yag Tiger finally figures out where I am, as I was going to help our other team. He's probably the Tiger that I killed and that respawned in behind me. Not a big deal. I get one shot as normal. So now we're going to our second game here on Eastern Europe. Eastern Europe is definitely, you want to be playing ambush in this tank. You don't want to be rushing the enemy in this. You don't want to be fighting in head-ons or sniping down streets. You want to be setting up ambushes, because you can't get shot in this thing. You will just explode. Especially with all the ammo being in the floor, it gets ammo racked a lot. Even with the only 20 shells that I take. And the other good thing about this cannon is it is very good at triggering the hull break mechanic, because you can shoot tanks with the hull break mechanic with some guns, and sometimes it won't happen. But I mean, everything that I've shot that has it just dies when it actually hits it, so it's pretty good. I mean, I used to play this thing a lot, and someone on stream was like, "Oh, it's not very competitive at 6.7." I'm like, "Oh, really? It's not competitive at 6.7?" And then, yeah, started going on a rampage in it last night. So, yeah. I'm also working on a few stream improvements. So, anyways, I actually got this thing when it was a 6.3 battle rating. It was stupidly overpowered back then. But luckily, it's a lot more balanced now. Kind of a shame, I mean... Oh, man, what? Oh, my favorite tank is balanced now? What is this? So, coming up to a nice ambush spot to kill anyone that's trying to rush us in the forest. And that's generally what I do on this map. But, yeah, there's a scorpion there. So, as I said, the hull break mechanic just instantly killed it. However, he's kind of in an inconvenient spot because I like using that whole gap between the two houses to kill anyone that's normally be contesting where B would be on domination. This is not domination, however, so there's usually not too many people that come here, and then M46 just exploded. So I'm just trying to. I know I can get shots onto T-29's tops of turrets from here. It's kind of difficult, but I can do it. So it's kind of what I was trying to accomplish here, but I just don't really have the shots to do it. So I take a shot at whatever the hell that was. I way overranged. He was way closer than I thought he was. That was more of a hope than expectation shot. It would have been cool if I hit it though, but I didn't. So I fall back. I don't want to push around the far side in case they've got someone sniping down. No one seems to be getting shot from the other side of the river based on what that IS-2 is. So I'm going to go around to the other side now. So I'm kind of pushing through the middle of the map. It can be rather dangerous with all the heavy tanks that like to come down here. Like T-29, come on, man. That thing should have been up-tiered in the recent BR changes, but I don't know. It didn't, so I hate that thing at 6.7. It's so broken. But at least with this thing, you will one-shot it from the side most of the time. So start looking around, seeing what I can see. And I'm getting way too aggressive here. This thing needs to sit back and wait for the enemy to come to it. And you shouldn't be going towards the enemy in this thing. But it can work as a nice aggressive flanking machine. But as I am flanking right down the middle of the city, it shouldn't have worked too well. But luckily no one in the enemy team pays any attention to anything. So, kind of coming around, and I saw machine guns going around here, so I'm trying to figure out what it was. Realized that it's a T-29, and he's not looking this way. Side shot into him and end him. Detonated sample racks and knocked out his crew. So, that leaves me in a position where I believe there was a few tanks behind me here, but they actually had been killed by other members of my team. I didn't realize that because I wasn't really paying attention. But, I mean, whatever. I didn't want to overextend any more than I had, or than I already was. So, I wasn't too bad of a thing that I fell back. But that's when I see, look up at the windmill, that there is two tanks driving up towards the windmill. So I'm just trying to get a shot onto those two tanks up by the windmill, since they're giving me their flat sides, and it's not all that hard to hit ranging shots with this thing. First one goes right into the side of a Panther, and then I have to fall back and reload and try and get the Hellcat. So the Hellcat kind of falls behind the trees and stuff, and they don't have line of sight on him. And now that I'm reloaded, I can't see him, and that's when I get shot in the back. So I would definitely recommend this thing for grinding, and it's a great tank, and I'll see